Hi everybody, thank you for joining us for this webinar. And today we're going to be talking about staying safe online. So the aims of the session are to increase our understanding of our children's online world, to equip you with practical approaches to keep your children safe online, and to build confidence to have conversations with your children about online safety. So first of all, I think we all know that technology is amazing. And if we don't know, we've been told this by our children. It's a great place. It's really important to keep in mind the positive aspects of technology while we take ourselves through this webinar, where we'll be talking about the difficult, the challenging, or the dangerous aspects of technology. But we do know that technology is really good as well. So what do children do online? They play. They can play games. Um, it's something that all children do. You know, playing it helps with their development and social skills. And children really love to play games online, whether it's on their own or if it's with others. And there's also loads of educational games out there as well. And programs, like Minecraft are even being used in some schools. Children are motivated by enjoyment in their use of the online, and play is a big part of that. Children also create online. Um, they bring home all sorts of wonderful creations from school. So of course they would want to use the internet to get creative as well. Um, some of the sites like Pop Jam encourages children to create pictures that they can share. Other apps allow them to share images, videos, music, as a way of expressing themselves. And for younger children, there are even apps that let them pretend to be a hairdresser or a chef or looking after pets, that kind of a thing. So they do a lot of creative things online too. It's also a place where they can learn. Um, Children's lives revolve around learning and discovering new information. Um, the way that they engage with the internet is no different. It's also a good resource for helping them with their learning or finding out new facts or pieces of information. And it's driven by a combination of the school environment or their personal interests. And actually, a lot of homework is now online. So online, it does provide a real, benefits for learning for those with also additional needs. It's an opportunity for learning through repetition, use of videos, imagery, accessible content, and much more. And finally, children also connect online. So they can connect with friends, make new friends, because children love to be sociable. So, for staying in touch with their friends and their family, it's become an essential benefit of internet access. Older children with mobile phones are, helping to fuel an emerging notion of being always online or contactable. things like WhatsApp, Snapchat, they come with an expectation that the child will respond to friends and family very quickly, as soon as possible. It's also the nature of keeping in touch online with the use of emojis or expressive images, the little videos that move and the little pictures that move. It's also really beneficial for some children with additional needs that might find it difficult to read people's emotions, responses, or intonations when they talk to each other, conversate. So it can provide a real sense of community for children and young people, both on a global and a local scale. It can help them develop their friendships that are offline and face to face in the online world. Um, it can also allow children to connect with others who share their interests, who they might not have access to in the offline world. Especially for disabled children or those with complex needs who have fewer accessible opportunities to maybe socialize in the offline world. So the internet could be seen as a community in itself. All of these things are what children like to do offline as well. The play, create, learn, and connect. It's all part of their normal development. If you want to know what your child is doing online, the best thing you can do is talk to them about it. It's helpful to find time to just be curious and interested, but to also praise your child for their creativity online. Having balanced discussions about our children's online activities, it helps to reinforce our role as someone they can ask for help. And therefore, if there is something they're worried about, if there is something they're concerned about, they can come to us. So we suggest to ask your child to show you their favorite things to do online and take a real interest in what they do, just like you would offline. Because this will give you a way to support and encourage them while learning what they know and exploring the online world together as well. So what are your concerns? How to manage the risks? The first thing is to see. The second is to meet. The third, to do. So these three categories are really useful to help you to understand these risks in an easy way. So what they see, this all relates to what children and young people are seeing online. And some concerning things might be racial hatred, violence, dangerous advice that's encouraging things like eating disorders, self-harm or suicide, unrealistic expectations of the body or gender, gambling websites, pornography, homophobia, hate or bullying websites, or extremist material, or inauthentic or inaccurate content. In 2017, 17% of 8 to 11-year-olds and 29% of 12 to 15-year-olds reported seeing worrying or nasty content. Whatever the scenario, you'll want to decide how to best protect your children from accessing this type of content and to reassure them if they're upset or worried about something they've seen. It's important because children might have come across this content by mistake, or they might have looked for it because they're curious. They might have been promised special offers or prizes that have drawn them in to click. It's very important to be non-judgmental when we talk to our children about what they've seen, so they don't feel like it's their fault. The best way to manage these risks is to use technical tools like parental controls. That helps to filter out content like what I've just mentioned. It's also important to check the sites and the apps that they're using and to follow the guidance that the app or website sets for age ratings. There's also options such as YouTube Kids and Google Kids, and that ensures that the content is suitable for young children and that adult content won't migrate onto their feed. So the next one is meet. Who they meet. And this relates to the people they could contact or could be contacted by. So children don't think of people that they've met online, on social networking or online games, as strangers. They see them as online friends. They may chat or become friends with people on social networks or games, even if they don't know them or they've never met them in person. This can make them vulnerable to inappropriate or unhealthy friendships, bullying, grooming, fake profiles, identity theft, stalking, hacking, or inadvertent contact. So sometimes the people that they know offline might be the ones bullying them or asking your child to do things they don't want to. Again, the best way to manage these risks is to talk to your child or your children about healthy friendships. Discuss with who they're friends with online, how they choose their friends, what information they share. Recognize that many children enjoy chatting online, but do remind them to be careful because people aren't always who they say they are. Encourage your child to think about what sites they visit, the types of images, and the types of comments they share. And also talk to your child about bullying and how to respond. Encourage your child not to respond or retaliate to any form of bullying, but to instead tell a trusted adult, tell you, and help them to block and report the bullies. And remember to keep any evidence as well, any messages or images. Remind them that if anyone makes them feel sad, worried, or upset, that they can tell you and that you can help them to use the blocking and reporting tools to keep themselves safe. Really important. According to NSPCC research, in 2017, 23.6% of young people experienced an adult that they do not know in real life trying to contact them over a website, an app, or a game. The third of these sections is the do, and it's what they do, their conduct online. Sometimes children can put themselves at risk through their own behaviour. This could be oversharing personal information or photos, which can include nude selfies or sexting, spending too much time online with an impact on their health and well-being. They can also put themselves in predicaments where they could run up large debts by not even realizing they were spending money on in-app purchases. Maybe sometimes they could bully others, other children. Sometimes it could be unintentional. They could also make inappropriate comments or statements themselves, which might affect their own reputation or their relationships. You might have heard of the digital footprint is a term that is spoken about a lot. And that essentially is your online reputation. So for things like opportunities in the future, such as jobs, such as university colleges, and things like that could be affected if some of these comments or statements have been broadcasted online. So to really educate your child of the consequences of some of those actions and how that can impact them. It's really important to share with your child your concerns and to ask them to share their concerns with you. To agree some rules and boundaries. This could be how much time they spend online or what they share, or a cap, maybe a cap on how much money is being spent, to help them to understand the possible consequences of their behavior. Use the technical tools like passwords to manage and protect. But the important thing is to get the balance of activities right, and also to be a good role model. Think about your own online behavior and think about how to set a good example. It might not always feel like it, but your child does notice how you act and they do follow your lead sometimes. So to be aware of that as well. So the risks that they face are constantly changing. So it's really good to keep talking to them about, one, what they see, two, who they meet and interact with, and three, the things they do. Remember that risks, in general, are healthy and don't always lead to harm. Taking risks is part of a normal development for children. It's how they learn, how they grow, by making mistakes and learning from them. And also, every child's experience will be different. So it's about the balance. It's about keeping in contact, keeping in communication with your child, building a safe space to talk, and to manage these risks and identify when something becomes dangerous or difficult or challenging to cause upset for your child. So here is a spectrum that we have. Sometimes as parents, we've got different responses. There could be the controlling response. So this could be stopping your child, full stop, having access to particular websites. The confident is the feeling that you have the knowledge and confidence to discuss this and agree some ground rules. And then there's the casual, which is not feeling confident about online activity. So basically ignoring what your child is doing online and hoping that it will be okay. So have a think about where you sit on that spectrum. The best way you can protect your child is to establish a positive relationship with them around their life online. It's to talk to them, not just once, but to have ongoing conversations as part of your family life. So what children are taught, it's to know who you're talking to. You know, people aren't always who they say they are. Learn how to use and set security settings. To keep your personal information private. To think before you post. To know how to report on different websites. To understand your digital footprint. And future implications of actions online and the behavior online. And also to know how to report concerns. So what do you know about the games that your children play? So lots of games have the capacity for in-game messaging or a chat. And this video will show you how they work and how to help your children stay safe while they play. So I'll just play a small section of this and you can find the full video on YouTube. Thanks for listening. That was a video by Think You Know and Ask About Games. So now we can focus on what we can all do to help our children and young people stay safe online. And it's not all down to us as parents. Families themselves need to work together to stay safe online. Children can also learn to stay safe online, and together families should use these technical tools that are there to help. So what parents can do, they can explore the online world together with your child. They can talk about what your child does online, get in there early and keep it up often. Parents can also set and agree boundaries. Now, what children can do, children can understand what they're doing online and what the risks might be. They might know how to stay safe and where to go if they're worried. And also to know how to use privacy settings and reporting tools. And then there's the aspect of technology and what technology can do within this triangle. Parental controls on the home Wi-Fi, devices, and search engines like Google or Bing that can filter and block content. Privacy settings, and that helps to restrict information that can be shared on websites and apps. So that's things like your child's name or date of birth or school or anything that's their information. So to really keep the full privacy settings that you can. And also time settings. So I believe there are tools that can control how long and also at what time in the day or night a child is online. And also password protection, and that can help to control the spending or running up debts within apps or games and things like that. So this is another video called Lucy and the Boy, and it's from NSPCC.
Lucy has always been great at sharing. She shares her sweets, her headphones. When she was little, she even shared her chicken pox. Lucy also likes sharing things on the internet. One day, she uploaded a selfie with Oscar and she got a message from a boy. Then she got another asking her to send a picture of herself at bedtime. Lucy thought this was great. The boy loved her panda onesie. She said pandas were her favourite thing. He bet that Lucy even had pandas on her pants. He wondered if they went to the same school and if she wanted to meet. He said she should bring her cool panda pants. But the next day, after school, she couldn't see any boys waiting. There was just a man.
Hello, love.
Sometimes children share things they shouldn't online, and the effects can be devastating. Help keep your child safe. Search Share Aware. Lucy has always been great at sharing.
Thanks for listening.
Lucy has...
Here's the next slide. So this is from NSPCC research. Says that young people want their parents to be, 1, educated about social networks and sites and games. 2, to be able to have open conversations. 3, actively engaging and working things with them, with your child. To take into account their perspective and the pressures they face, and also to open and engaging about the issues and concerns they have. So how you can help them to stay safe. I'll say it again, talk, have the conversation early and often, and to be interested in what they do so that they know where to go for help. Explore, learn about and explore the online world together, and making sure that the content that they're viewing is age appropriate. To agree the family rules and boundaries, and to be a great role model. And 4, manage and to use the technical tools to check they know how to use the privacy and reporting tools. Help your kids stay safe online, work as a team. So it's talk, explore, agree, and manage. There's also some ways that we can start the conversation. We can say things like, I know the internet is a great place. I'm happy for you to use it. I just want you to be okay. Another way to start the conversation could be, why don't you show me some of the sites and apps that you like? Just as a way in, you know? Don't forget, there's also other adults who are part of the family, like grandparents, uncles and aunties. It's really important to include them in your conversations about staying safe online. Sometimes children prefer to talk to a trusted adult who isn't their parent. So it's really important that they share your knowledge and approach, and that they understand whether it's grandparent, uncle, auntie, how they can help and support your child, either if they're round at your house or if their child's coming to visit them. Just good to all be on the same page. And also to reinforce where children can get support if things go wrong. And that includes talking to parents, older brother or sister, trusted adults. This could be grandparent, aunties, friends' parents, teachers, faith group leader, or youth worker. And also, they can contact Childline. So this was an idea from a parent at a previous Head Start workshop, and Head Start created this slide deck and presentation. And this is a think before you speak, text, or type. And the think stands for true, helpful, important, necessary, and kind. So here's a information on for if illegal content is found and seen, this should be reported to the IWF, and that stands for Internet Watch Foundation. And any abuse that's been happening online can be reported to Click CEOP, CEOP. Any problems online should be reported to the website as well that the child is on. And if serious enough, concerns should also be reported to the police. And if you're unsure about where to report, if you go to www.thinkyouKnow, which is on the slide here, Think You Know organisation, they've got information and resources on how to report and where to report to. If you want to stay in the know, the NSPCC have their Net Aware website, and it's a guide, it's a brilliant guide that lists all of the social networks and apps and things like that that your kids are using. So, there's that many these days. I can't keep up with them. It's a really good resource. You can type it in. So say if your child's mentioned Snapchat or TikTok and you're not sure about it, or there's a new app that's come in or a new game, you can type in the name and you'll get some information that'll show. And that's a really good resource to use. Here are some other parent resources. ShareAware, Think You Know again, NSPCC. And some interesting home activity worksheets as well, which might be really beneficial to do with your child at home. And here are some child-friendly websites. So there's a search engine called Kiddle, and that is essentially, it's Google but for kids. So it'll ensure that if they want to search something about animals or any of their interests, it could be football, it could be anything, they can, instead of using Google, which might bring up, inappropriate content, they can use this search engine instead. If they want to watch videos, they can use the YouTube Kids website instead of the regular YouTube. And here are the numbers for NSPCC and Childline. So remember, 60% of children and young people surveyed by NetAware said that they had altered their online behaviour following parental advice. 60%. So it's really important that we talk to our children and keep up that line of communication and help them navigate through what can be a brilliant online world that has challenges but also dangerous elements too, and to help them keep themselves safe. Thank you so much for listening today. Lots of information to take on. And if you would like a copy of the slides, we can email that out to you on the email on the slide, strengthening.families@newham.gov.uk. If you'd also like to be part of our WhatsApp group where you can find out about, the latest parental offers or offers for young people in Newham, please do add your name and number in your email, and then we can add you to our Parents Network group. Thank you so much for staying with me today and for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.